All right, let's talk about the Epstein files and its fallout. Let's talk about ICE and churches. Welcome to Marxisms. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Like and subscribe, but do not hit the notification button because notifications are annoying. Anyway, so let's talk about Epstein and the Epstein files. Remember, Trump promised that he was going to release the files, and then a little while later, he was kind of going. Once he got elected, he was kind of going, "Well, there might be innocent people in there. I'm not sure who he's talking about. There might just be people that had lunch with him and flew on his plane a million times to that island, pedophile island. But didn't engage in any of that stuff. Well, anyway." Looks like Dan Bongino, the FBI director, or what the fuck is he? He's assistant FBI director, and Kash Patel are talking about resigning. Dan today said that he's thinking about resigning over the thing, and Cash says that he's going to resign if Dan does. Are they like co-directors or something? Because that's just weird. But anyway, so it just with Dan Bongino, I'm not a big fan of the guy, but I think he's just kind of a true believer. I mean, I think he's really sincere about his douchebag mockery, and conservatism, which is fine. I don't mind conservatives. I used to be one myself. I'm still conservative in many respects, as a matter of fact. I just didn't join the cult. Because MAGA's a cult, and these people they're like blind followers. But thank God that Dan Bongino has a little bit more sense than that. I wasn't sure about Cash Patel, but it looks like maybe these guys have a conscience. Anyway, at least they recognize that we can't tolerate um, pedophilia. We just can't tolerate that shit in this country. They've It's bad enough that they tolerate or believe the nonsense about Trump's other sexual assaults, especially with the track record this guy has, the things he said, grabbing their, hmm and then where he's in that teen pageant where he walks in the room when they're dressing and says, "Oh, I can get away with that. No one else is allowed to go in there." What a pervert! I mean, this guy's sick. And I'm sorry, anybody that has just ignored this stuff. I mean, I know a lot of people are ignorant of it. They don't follow the um celebrity news because that was all like celebrity news back in the day because that's what Trump was. He was just a celebrity. And so I I heard these things because I'm aware. I read the paper and I watch the news and I follow the news and follow current events. It's important to me what goes on, and I'm not a big fan of looking into celebrities and things like that. I mean, I have my a few favorites of mine, and mostly because I think they're really awesome people, like Corey Taylor of Slipknot and Stone Sour. The guy's really smart, and so is Clown. Clown's crazy, but if you're familiar with Slipknot, they're a metal band. They're the guys that wear the masks. And to me, when I first saw that, it was like, okay, this is just weird. And then I started getting to listen to their music a little bit and learning more about them, watching interviews with them, and it's like I became really impressed with Corey. I mean, he's just a super smart guy, and you see this interview at his home, and you can see the door to his studio opened up, and I know it's a studio because I've seen videos where they do some filming in there. One particular song in particular where they do like a 3D camera, but you could see on the wall just a wall of books and and listening to the guy's music, listening to the guy's interviews. It's like, well, plus the fact that the guy's written seven bestsellers or nine, I don't know, but he's written a bunch of books himself. Of course, they become bestsellers because he's famous. But if you read them, actually, they're really well written. And one of them I did an audio, and he reads the audio. He reads the or audible. He reads it. So the guy's really smart. But he's very impressive. But anyway, so I don't really follow a lot of celebrities, and I mean, I'm not one of these guys. If I saw him, I probably wouldn't even ask for his autograph. I would just go, "Hey, man, I really love your music, and I think you're a smart guy," kind of stuff. And would love to, like, sit and have dinner with him, break bread, whatever. In fact, I'd love to use, for bumper music, I want to use one of his songs for this. I want to kind of reach out to him and, it's a Stone Sour song, actually, and ask if I can. I've used it in, like, on Facebook because you can, use music there, copyright free, I guess. I don't know how all that works, but I don't want to do a copyright infringement. I don't want to step on his toes or anything like that. But I think he's a really sharp guy. But I don't know. Maybe he'll let me use it. Who knows? I don't not make. It's not like I'm making any money here. At least not yet. Anyway, so yeah, so I don't really care about the celebrity thing. So I've kind of had to go back on some of this stuff. But with Trump, it was like, I'll tell you what, I never liked the guy. I thought he was just arrogant, but he was just a celebrity. So a lot of people don't know, and I get it, based on the way I am, the way I feel about this stuff. That who cares? He was a celebrity. And so they don't know these things. They started following him when he started doing politics. And then they just think because they're told this by Fox News and Newsmax and the crap that they listen to, and the stupid memes on Facebook and whatever, that this is just it's all fake news from CNN and the fake news media. I mean, I get it all the time on Facebook. Well, I'll make an argument with somebody and I'll make a legitimate argument and I'll say, hey, you know what? That's actually not true. Oh, where did you learn that? CNN or MSNBC? And it's like, I don't watch CNN and I don't watch MSNBC no more than I watch Fox News. I used to watch Fox News actually quite a bit back when I was with the Republican Party and all that crap. But back then they were actually a little more fair too. I know liberals didn't think so, but whatever. But they did. They had right left debate. I mean, I used to Hannity and Combs. I used to love that show, and I used to laugh. Even being a conservative, I used to laugh at just how Alan Combs, rest his soul, used to just destroy Trump, um, Sean Hannity. And I've always thought Sean Hannity was an idiot. I did kind of like the um, Bill O'Reilly show back in the day. Just because at least the guy's smart. Turns out he's a total hypocrite, just like the rest of them. But anyway, anyway, so yeah, I get that you don't like, so you don't know about stuff that Trump did, but these things are actually true, and you don't want to believe them because it's mainstream news, lamestream news media, blah blah blah. Well, no, the truth is it's the truth. He said these things. You can look this stuff up. It's not AI. Before AI was ever a thing, these tapes were out there, so it's not like it's something new. It's just the facts. Grabbing. He's talks about how he I grab him by the whatever. Well, he's in the flight logs. He's all over this Epstein thing. Obviously, we all know he was buddies with him. And it's funny when people talk, they always want to say Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel's not in the file. He's not on the list. Jimmy Kimmel's pretty. I think he's a pretty upstanding guy, and the way he trounces on Trump all the time. I mean, he would be really dumb to be on in these files. And if I was him and I was in these files, I would just shut up. But so that's BS. Everybody's like, oh, Biden's in there. Well, I doubt whether Biden's in there, honestly. Bill Clinton, different story. And see here, this is the problem with this whole thing. We've heard a couple of names out there. We know from flight manifests the things that have been released that, yeah, Trump was pretty good buddies with him, and he used to visit Trump's casino, and Trump used to go on the flights to the island there and whatnot. Do we know what happened? Well, excuse me. Yeah, we do know some of it because the simple fact is that, and some of the women have. I think at least one of the women has accused him of something, but we know he's been accused of rape, with the E. Jean Carroll thing, and he keeps going back to court on that. We know the things he's said. We know he's talked about going in and leering at these young girls in the pageant that he owned, so he was allowed to go in their dressing room. How is that a thing? Isn't that against the law? I mean, you pervert. Hello. They're underage. They were like 15, 16-year-old girls, and, he's going in their dressing room while they're undressing and then bragging about it publicly. How do you miss that? How do you, as a woman, how do these MAGA women just revere this guy? It makes no sense. So here we have, he's going to promise to release these files, all right? And based on his history and his history with Epstein and all the things he said about him, what a good guy he is, and he's great. He's always got a lot of beautiful women, and they're really young, he says. And then there's, him dancing with him and talking with him, and reports of them being like, buddy buddy and joined at the hip and sharing girlfriends and all this stuff. It's like, how do you just say that that's, uh, mainstream news media fake news? It just isn't. There's enough evidence out there, in his own words, that he's a serial, sexual abuser. I mean, it's ridiculous to even to think that he's not. So I don't know how these MAGA women vote for him, where they think that's sexy. Yeah, rape is sexy, huh? That's just disgusting. I'm sorry. Pedophilia, even if it's okay, it's not actually pedophilia, because pedophilia is actually girls under us, really young. There's another term for it. I don't know what it is, but whatever. It's still the same. You're an older man, even if you're in your 30s and you're dating a like high school age girl. There's something fucking wrong with you. There's something seriously wrong with you. That's just, I'm sorry, that's disgusting. I'm 61 years old personally, and I'm dating a younger woman, but she's like in her 50s. She's like in her, uh, I guess, early 50s. But and I actually dated a couple years ago. I dated a 46-year-old, and I was just kind of like, wow, okay, that's pretty young. Um, but she was smart, and she had, we had things in common. We were able to talk about stuff, and this one is too. I mean, we're close enough in age, that um, we have a lot of the same experiences and stuff like that. And she's really smart. So it's not the same thing. I mean, if I was dating her when she was in high school, that would have been a little weird, because I would have been like, quite a bit older than her. It's one thing if you're like a year or two like that, a lot of times a senior will date a junior. That's different. That's not the same thing. And then the senior graduates and is over 18, and then she's under 18. Well, that's why they have laws now that say, well, it's got to be within a few years you're actually okay. You're not going to get a statutory rape, because it's you're dating somebody that's kind of your peer. I wouldn't date anybody in their 20s or 30s, or um at this point probably even in their 40s. I mean, it's just, I don't have anything in common with them. Um Plus, I think about, as I get older, what is it going to be, what would it be like being with a 30-year-old? I mean, I'd be an 80-year-old man, and she'd be what? She'd be in her 40s, she'd still be out doing stuff, and I'd be like in a wheelchair, you know, wearing a diaper or something. Fuck that. That's just, that would be weird. I'm sorry. So anyway, there's just something wrong with a man that does that. It's like I see on like Instagram and stuff like that. You get all these friend requests from these like 20 something year old girls and whatnot. And it's like, you look at their friends list, and it's all older men and stuff like that. It's like, are they that dumb? Are they really that dumb that they're buying this, that they think, oh yeah, she thinks I'm sexy? No, she doesn't. She's after your money, or it's a Russian troll or something, trying to get your money once again. But anyway, and I know there are women like that will go off after older guys, and I mean, I've seen it. It's just for one thing. It's like, the guy wants sex and the girl wants um cars and diamonds and apartments, whatever. Manhattan apartments, who knows, whatever. But anyway, so we there's enough information out there to kind of see what's going on here, to read between the lines. So Trump, so Trump's AG Pam Bondi or DOJ, Department of Justice. Yeah, I guess that'd be the Attorney General, wouldn't it? Anyway, so she says that she has it on her desk. How many months ago? Back in what, February or something? It's on my desk and we're looking it over and all this stuff. Now it doesn't exist. That's a little fishy. And Trump now is going shortly after he gets elected. He's like, yeah, there might be, innocent people on that list. He's just setting that up because he wants to be one of those innocent people that's on that list. That's the only thing that I could, otherwise, if he's really serious about outing pedophiles, he would out these pedophiles. Okay. Now you're going to say, but why didn't the Democrats do it? Because Bill Clinton's on the list. Hello. And other Democrats and other Republicans, there's elites on this list. And that's the thing. This guy hung out with rich and famous people. He hung out with and Prince Andrew, who we know was on the list. That's all been kind of out there. That's the thing. It's like, as always, it's about the rich and they're elite, so we gotta protect them. It's like, no, we don't. No, we don't. The list needs to be released. Now, Dan Bongino, thank you. I want to thank you. I've never been a big fan of yours, but you know what? You should resign over this because this is your reputation at stake right here. It's your morals at stake right here. Do you believe that Trump is innocent and because he's not going to release this? Do you believe that he's a good person because he's going to protect these elites who are on this list? I don't think I hope that you have more morals than that. I mean, I'm calling you out, Dan. Um, like I said, I've never been a big fan of yours, but I do think that you have the morals. I don't think that you're um, happy with people that are pedophiles. Based on, I mean, I've watched interviews and I've seen you on Fox News and stuff like that. Um, so I said I don't watch, but I do. I mean, I watch a little bit of everything, but I don't take any of it as gospel. I get my news more or less independently. I see what they're putting out there, and there's truth on in both sides, for sure, but they are biased. So you have to go in understanding that. So I honestly don't think that you're that kind of person, and maybe Cash Patel isn't. I don't really know that much about Cash, and maybe he isn't either. Maybe you guys are really kind of on the up and up here. I'd like to think so, and so I'm calling on you, Dan Bongino. Yeah, you need to put your foot down on this because it doesn't matter how elite they are or what it's going to do to their business or this or that or whatever. These are people who had sex with underage women, who engaged in sex with sex trafficked women. And if you are the person that you claim to be and you're not a hypocrite, then you need to push this. And if you don't get your way, you need to walk because that's the way it is. I mean, stand on your principles. That's what you need to do. And I'm pretty sure that you have them. Do it and do it publicly and then stand with the rest of us against this guy. Okay, enough of that. Um, we know we know that Trump is probably on this list. I say we know and then probably, but yeah, I mean it's how could he not be? This is how could he not be? Really, think about it. So anyway, that having been said, let's move on. Um, Come on, Dan, do the right thing. So let's talk about ICE. They're going after churches, mainly Catholic churches. I'm guessing because a lot of Hispanics uh, from Mexico and from and immigrants from Mexico and Central America are Catholic, and so Their kids go to Catholic schools sometimes. They go to mass because they're devout Catholics, and so they're targeting churches. I mean, we have in my neck of the woods here, we have, because I'm near the border, we have a lot of a very heavy Hispanic population in all the churches. I went to a Protestant church here for a while when I was flirting with Christianity, and um, it's always interested me, Christianity, and like I said, I've said it before. I love Jesus's teachings. It's You just can't go wrong with them. I mean, peace and love and all that kind of stuff. It's treating other people with good. It's How do you go wrong with that? I mean, the guy was amazing. But anyway, um, so I mean, it's predominantly, honestly, Hispanics that go to not just Catholic churches around here, but Protestant churches as well. And so ICE is taking advantage of that. I mean, churches used to be kind of a hands off type of thing. They were sanctuaries and this and that, and now these thugs are targeting churches. Um, It's disgusting. They're targeting churches and schools. They're going after schools. But this whole thing with the churches, it's just like, come on. So now people are going to be afraid to go worship. The churches are going to go under, first of all. If in some areas, if Hispanics aren't going around here, there's not going to be too much in the tithe box, or the or whatever you want to call it. They don't call it that in the Catholic Church, but um, when they pass the little basket, the guy, the usher, comes around and he has a basket on a long stick that they pass them on either side. They're just long enough to reach the middle of the pews so that people can throw their money in there, which is helps pay for the diocese and whatnot, and with Protestant churches, it helps pay for the church and the grounds, and pay for the building and all the costs of the people that work there and stuff, which is kind of important if you're going to run a church. I mean, personally, I don't care. I think they should all pay taxes, and I couldn't care less if they go under. But not everybody feels that way, and still, I mean, people should be allowed to worship any way they want to. If you believe in God, or if you believe in Buddhism or whatever, I want you to be free to practice Islam, Judaism, across the board. As long as you're not, doing human sacrifices, I'm cool with it. If you're not one of the churches that where the pastors are sexually assaulting children and hitting on the women who work there and stuff like that, which happens very frequently, not just in Catholic churches, but in all Christian churches and probably all churches. Period. I'm not okay with that, but obviously, we're getting right back into the whole Epstein thing right there. Um, yeah, so it's disgusting. So there's around here, I know there's going to be I was thinking about going to it, but I've been getting up and working out, and so I'm kind of into doing that. I was going to go down to the border nearby here. They're having a protest down there, and but it's I'd have to leave early, and I would probably have to carpool with somebody, and then it would end up being a long day. I would have to depend on them to get me back here, and it just I don't feel like doing it. Is all. I mean, I should. I know, but tomorrow's just a bad day. I had already had previous plans before I found out about it, and so I'm gonna stick with my previous plans and do that instead, because that's what I should do, because I had already had plans. So anyway, I had a commitment, and I'm gonna keep. That's really the main reason. So, I think that's going to be it for today. I just wanted to rant about the about the Epstein thing, and want to praise and encourage Dan Bongino to push this thing And if he doesn't get what he wants, then he needs to resign because then you know, and then you need to join us in trying to get rid of Trump. And when I say get rid of, I don't mean anything violent. I mean, help us elect people who are willing to impeach him because that's what needs to happen. He needs to be impeached. This guy's a danger to America, and he's been a danger to women in the past, and possibly young women. We need to get him out. Anyway, peace.